Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's game. It is between Mass Valoran Pirates and Spectres. I do not know rosters yet if they have not been put in. Well, let me change it. All right, it looks like we're just seeing the starting roster from Spectres, so nothing too crazy. But yeah, should be an exciting game. Spectres has actually not dropped a single game all season, let alone a series. So I'm really excited to see how these teams are matching up into each other. I think it should be pretty exciting. MVP has been looking very strong as well. They did defeat the Rift Sharks, my team. They did suffer a loss to Andromeda, but they were subbing down a bit. So obviously, I don't think that represents their full strength. Still waiting on side select and roster from the Pirates. Only Poozes and Call for now, so I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. So I will try to debug the website instead. The assets aren't working at the moment, so I'm trying to figure out what's going on there. Should just be a way for me to kill time. So I'll just try and talk so that we are, still engaged here. I think it's possible that there is just like a typo somewhere. I'm not entirely sure. Okay, it looks like the roster is in, but side select is not, from what I can tell. Yeah, it looks like we're just seeing starting rosters from both these teams, which is nice. I don't know how many of our games we've actually gotten that. So obviously getting everyone in that you'd like to have in is always nice. I feel like gives you a better picture of how these teams are going to compare to each other, which I feel like is always nice. But I think it's just going to be me for now. If anyone wants to help out with the cast, would be greatly appreciated. I'm just going to grab these updated rosters and try and help us as I'm trying to kind of work through this. Draft should be happening at 8:40. So that should be going smoothly. Still, we have some time for that to catch up. Still just trying to get this debugged. I'm trying to figure out what is going on right now. Here, I'll just put on some music to fill some of the space. But yeah, I think going into this match, there's a lot to kind of look at. MVP has run a couple different rosters, same as Spectres, but we are back to starting roster for both of them. Spectres has been playing quite well, so I'm expecting MVP to at least contest them. That team's been looking super solid, so I'd be surprised if this series wasn't at least close. But yeah, I am expecting Spectres to grab this one. I believe that is who would be favored, but both of these teams have a very strong shot, and MVP's mid jungle is super strong. So is Spectres. I think the lanes that we really are going to want to look out for are bot lane and top lane. If Avery... am I still good? Wait, it looks like I'm still live. My Discord just flipped for some reason. Hopefully that there wasn't a cutout in the stream. Oh, it looks like it is bad. No, okay, we're back. I'm sorry for that delay. My internet flickered for a bit there. Yeah, it looks like there is a bit of an issue regarding side select, so expect a bit of a delay on this game, possibly. Not sure what's going on at the moment. Okay, so a draft is going to be at 8:48. There was a delay in getting side select communicated. MVP has chosen red side, which has been the stronger side, I believe. I don't actually have data on that, so I'm kind of just making it up as we go, just for fun. Okay, so it looks like the error was actually not as bad as I thought it was. It was just telling me I should use HTTPS, which, yes, I know, but that's expensive. Speaking of server maintenance costs being expensive, subs are discounted this month if you want to shoot one over and support the channel. I see Mythic sent a sub with Prime 4 days ago. Much appreciated there. Very helpful. Helps us keep the website running. And now we actually have assets, so I can go over stuff. Sorry for the delay there. The champions to watch here, all very exciting. Avery actually played Yasuo recently, got another dub on it, so he is 4-0 on that top lane pick right now. 6.44 KDA is kind of disgusting. Pusa's signature champ on this Yorick. I actually had a conversation with him after the last series, talked some build stuff. Very excited, we might get to see it. However, I do think that Yasuo has a pretty good matchup into it, is able to avoid the wall pretty well. And has a lot of AoE damage to deal with the minions. So we do see that matchup. It's definitely favored for Avery. Cesarius's featured jungle champion is this Ivern. I doubt he's going to play it. I think the Lilia is actually the wave for Cesarius, so we might see that banned away. Although I has also been known to play it, so we could just see it as a contested pick. Featured champion is Hecarim, although she has a lot of different options in the jungle. We just haven't seen too much of any particular pick, which is why the Hecarim is spotlighted. Heroic, his Victor is very scary. He's been playing a lot of these scaling mages, so I think we're probably going to see some more of that. They haven't strayed too much from that style. Usually like a split push oriented top side, then some scaling mages in the mid lane, and then Valor's been playing a lot of hyper carries. Going on to the bot lane there, Liz's Milio has looked fantastic. Really solid on that pick, played into Rakan earlier. It's also possibly decent into Nautilus. It's tough though because Milio will still get pulled in. You can't actually defuse the whole situation with your Q. But yeah, Valor is very comfortable on this Zeri pick. Looking very solid for him. However, we go to the other side of the map and we see Echo, Kaisa, and Nautilus as the featured champions. Mythic's Nautilus is super good. Very much enjoy watching that champion get played onto the Rift. Mythic is very comfortable on it and likes to play a lot of champions similar to it if he can't get it. Gruer's Echo is absolutely disgusting. Guy has like 1 million mastery points on it, I think. I could be wrong. I could be underselling it. So that is basically just a must ban. You got to take that off the table. It is absolutely terrifying. And then we have Sarverus on the other team. Kaisa is his featured champion. 7.67 KDA is disgusting. Very solid on the pick. And this is actually a champion that Valor struggled on in the past. Has picked it a lot when it's been a Kaisa meta, but he just doesn't seem as comfortable on it. So I'd be interested to see if he's able to improve it since the last time he picked it, and if it is a threat or if it's just something that they're going to need to worry about. Just another champion on that list that you need to be really careful of for Spectres. Another champ select thing I want to point out here is that Pusa historically has called for a lot of Darius bans, and Darius is one of Avery's strongest champions, so I'm expecting to see that taken off the table. But you have the Nautilus, you have the Lilia, you have Echo, you have the Darius, the Yasuo is a huge problem, and I feel like Sarvis has a lot of champs to worry about as well, especially if this Kaisa is still just a one-way pick. I'm hoping that maybe MVP practiced a lot of champions to kind of be able to contest some of these power picks. I think that could open up their draft a lot and make this a lot more dynamic, because otherwise it feels like MVP just has to ban everything. And that's really tough. From the other side, it's kind of interesting. You might just want to throw some bans at Aya and Heroic to take them off their pool, but I feel like everyone on this team has such a large pool that it's tough to really know what to ban. Personally, I would definitely be taking away the Rakan from Liz. Very good on that champion. And if Valor does whip out the Xayah, that pairing is super tough to deal with. And since you have red side, you can just lock it in on 1-2, which is a very good combo. Draft's going to be starting in a couple minutes. I believe draft links just got sent. But okay, yeah, here, let me get this set up. Key matchup, I completely agree with the the algo on this one. Mid lane is going to be the most fun to watch. Both of these players have been pretty much the strongest point of both of their teams all season. Gruer has been just carrying these games, and Heroic also been playing super well. So getting to see these two kind of titans of their lane face off against each other. Heroic's stat line looks a bit better in terms of win rate, but Gruer's 4.15 KDA, even though he's had 13 losses, is crazy. The fact that you're still losing games and able to perform this well is honestly really impressive. And we're just going to have a couple of featured players before we run out of time. Sarverus on the side of Spectres, completely agree with this one. He's been looking very solid. He flexed into the jungle last series and still looks pretty clean. 86 champions played over 53 games. That's not right. I'm going to have to figure out what's going on there. 60% win rate and 4.16 KDA. Looks pretty solid. And then looking at Aya, this is definitely broken. Did not play 87 champions in 54 games. We know this is not correct. 3.15 KDA, very good, and a 56% win rate. And now we are going to head over to draft because this should be starting any minute. And I will figure out why it is calculating these things wrong, because that really doesn't make any sense, I'm not going to lie. All right, we are into bans. Vygar's banned away. This is actually on the wrong side, so I do apologize for that. Let me see if I can't get this fixed real quick. The Vygar ban is directed towards Heroic, as well as the Kassadin ban following it. Kassadin is a champion that we've seen a lot of prio on recently. As Mason was talking about on the podcast, it had kind of like a sleeper buff that they didn't announce. Thanks, Riot, I guess. Not really sure how they managed that one. But anyway, the champion's very strong. Heroic had a very good game on it previously, so just banning out these mids, making sure that Gruer has comfort is a really good strategy in my opinion. And they've taken out the Urgot away from Puza. I think they're forcing him probably under those more known picks of his. He kind of pulled it up last series. And against Spectres, you're giving Echo and Lilia and Nautilus. I really don't agree with this. You are just banning away tank junglers versus areas. You basically just forced him onto the Lilia. I'm not sure if you'd maybe want to take Sejuani or Maokai into the Lilia, knowing that you're going to face it. But it's also possible that they have a counter in mind. I would not like to see Udyr here. Jarvan is actually a pretty good pick. So it looks like they're trying to force this areas off of those tanky picks, and they're just going to try and slam the Jarvan to counter the Lilia. Except Xayah and Rakan are actually going to be picked here instead. I am not super happy with the fact that this combo was left open. It's very strong, so I'm hoping that Spectres had a bot lane planned to counter this pairing. It's very good in the meta right now, and just a very solid bot lane overall, especially because obviously Xayah and Rakan are buffed. Okay, apparently it is Silico tonight, not Aya, which just got updated. So I will be trying to get that updated as fast as possible. Real quick, but the Nautilus is locked in. These are all champions we were expecting to see. And Syndra is actually coming out instead of Echo. This is a champion we've seen banned away from Gruer many times. I believe this is actually the first time we've seen it in a while. So I think that is going to add a lot of excitement here. And yeah, as I mentioned earlier, it is going to be Silico instead of Aya. I'd like to see Jarvan bans coming out here. That is a counter that they potentially might pick into Caesarius. Caesarius on the Lilia, but we'll have to see. I would like to probably see some top lane bans laid out here. get the Darius and probably also the Yasuo off the table. A lot of ADCs are really good with Nautilus, so banning those aren't going to yield you many results. Darius is taken off the table. Samir is taken off the table. Very good pairing with the Nautilus. Very solid. Looks like they're probably... I'd want them to pick jungle here just to make sure Puza can get a favorable matchup. Avery has been really good at manipulating these. It seems they do know Silico is in. Shaco is banned away as well, which is good. Except MVP is waiting very long to pick. Amumu is actually locked in. I feel like this is not necessarily what you want. It seems like it would be pretty weak into Lilia. And as well as like Syndra and Nautilus, you're just going to get tossed around. A lot of ways to just push Amumu out of the fight if he's going for an engage. Ashe is actually being hovered here. I'd like to see a bit more of a playmaking champion from Sarvers, but it is pretty good into the Zyra Khan, so I can't be too upset about that one. And I would like to see something juicy up here in the top lane. A Yasuo would be very fun. I'm not sure what MVP would have to counter that. The set probably does pretty well. Except we're just seeing weak side detainee Avery return. This is super boring. We're seeing the Ornn. He might be able to get some solo kills down on here. But we'll have to see. It's going to be a much tougher matchup. And this last pick, I am not sure exactly what to expect, but Yorick would probably be fine. We're looking... Dr. Mundo's hovered instead. I really don't like this into Ornn. You're able to block one of his CCs, but he has like 8. So not a huge fan of this. But yeah, we will have to see. I'm going to have to step away. I'm going to eat dinner. If anyone else wants to join and cast, just hop on to Casting Futon. I will make sure that this game is being streamed in the correct spot. And I will make sure that we have the right assets up real quick. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, and here we go. Oh, this is actually interesting. Just real quick before I dip, none of these players have actually played into each other ever, which is crazy. So I guess first time for everything. This should be pretty exciting to look at. I'm just gonna make sure we have some background music on, and I will BRB. Well, I am back briefly to make sure that the game is configured correctly. We'll just say I think the Lilia and Ornn are kind of late game insurance. Obviously, Syndra scales pretty well, but if Spectres does not get the snowball rolling, which is not something they've had trouble doing in the past, I think it is going to look a bit rough for them. Late game, Aesol, Xayah, Rakan, and it's also Mundo are like brutal. That's going to be really rough. Especially that Aesol and Xayah, Rakan are pretty scary. I think Mundo is like annoying, and you actually don't have very many tools to deal with him with Lilia and Ashe. But the Syndra execute might be a good way to take care of him. We are going to be getting into game very, very shortly. We will see. But I'm expecting Spectres to try to just snowball this game, playing through their laners. Caesarius has been doing a really good job this season of just kind of controlling the entire map. So expecting to see more of that, and if that goes well, it should pan out pretty well for Spectres. But MVP's late game has been absolutely horrifying. Once they get there, like horrifying in a good way, so, to be clear. Once they get there, it is super doomed for everyone playing against them. So I'm expecting that to be one of their strong points if they're able to make it that late in the game. If they don't get there, obviously it's going to be pretty tough. But Silico on this early game, a Mumu champion, is going to have the tools to kind of snowball them there. Game loading a bit slowly, but yeah, I think Brewer's Syndra is going to be something to watch out for. Something that's drawn a lot of bans, but we're finally getting to see it go through here. And I'm going to hope that nothing goes wrong and I can just enjoy my dinner. So, and once again, if anyone wants to go help cast, feel free to. But BRB. I'll be back when I'm done eating. Okay, seems like things have mostly been playing out how I predicted. Silico is getting a lot of work done in the early game. And then obviously you give Liz her con, she's going to perform. Lots of good plays coming out there. But Sarius and Starburst have been making a lot of plays. Now Brewer is going to just pick up a clean solo kill. I was just about to say, haven't seen too much from him, but obviously Xayah just completely disrespects the Syndra that's 3 levels up on her. She's definitely just going to get the one shot. Avery's been making a lot of good plays from what I've seen. Was able to dodge just a full 3-man collapse on him, which was super impressive. But yeah, Silico looked like he was making a lot of plays, proactive stuff. Always good to see, and he just picked up an execute just recently, which is impressive considering he was able to pull off a tower dive. But Sarvis is picking up the 2nd turret of the game, maybe. Is actually just going to back out because he sees the Aesol coming though. Alright, Engage is coming out here. They're looking to catch Avery. He should just be able to get to the blast code in time, and he's able to just pop out. And dinks off Pooza's passive. Very helpful. And there is an Engage coming out here, but it's just going to fizzle. Xayah ult is burned. That could be a problem later. Silico Flash ulti for just one person is really trying to pick up the Ashe here, but Sarver kiting really well, burns the ulti to pick up the kill, and Heroic is falling down quite low. I don't think he's going to fall here, though. Now that 2nd turret is going to fall. They were able to pick one up in trade on the bot side, though. Unless that happened a while ago and I just missed it like a moron, which I think is entirely possible. Liz is getting chunked out here. Might not end up falling. Silico is showing up there, looking to maybe get a tricky situation started here for the Spectres, but they're able to just waltz out of it. The move speed on Lilia makes it really hard to pin her down with feathers. I think that could be something they had in mind when they allowed this combo to go through, but I'm not entirely sure. Stanley, I know you're listening to this. Lucian is apparently Seraphine. Your tool is putting in big work. Looking at dragons, which is not something I've gotten to talk about, Ocean Soul is going to be huge if MVP is able to pick it up. I think it's still pretty solid for Spectres, but nowhere near as good, so they're mostly just looking to deny it. If we see a team trying to slow down the game and avoid taking these dragons, I'm expecting it to be Spectres. But as the more early game focused team, you're going to want to be accelerating the game, so they might end up looking for them instead. Silico is going for a play top. I'm not sure you're going to get much out of ganking this Ornn. He's playing some footsies. Liz does just get hard CC'd forever, and Sarvis is able to pick up a kill. Silico's now running him down, but the tower is still up, so I really doubt that there's going to be a play there. Valor's getting chunked down to about half. Is really trying to stay alive in this lane, but they're definitely making it pretty tough on him. Okay, a play is coming out here. Silico is able to escape, so it is just going to fizzle. Silico does get caught here. Silico almost falling to Gruer's burst, but is just able to withstand this ulti. Ornn Engage is coming down, is able to land onto Valor, who does have ulti. And now the full engage is coming out. The Drowsy's here. Mythic is falling down pretty low, but Zarius is just cleaning up so much. Sarvis or Gruer and Zarius are both able to pick up kills in that fight, and they should just be able to transition this into a pretty free Baron. Zaya's not going to be able to contest without a team, and Mundo does not do much as a champion unless he's super far ahead. So I don't think either of these teams are super concerned here. Okay, Liz looked for something there, but I don't think they've scaled up to the point where it's safe. Valor just has to pop the cleanse, has no ulti still, so he's in a bit of a precarious situation. There is a full engage coming out here. Cesarius getting a lot of damage down, is going to pick up both the backline. Sarvis actually got one of those, and Silico goes over the wall, but is just going to tick down to the red buff from Sarvis. Ornn ulti is burned on completely nothing, but I don't really think it matters. Azel is a bit caught out here, but they're not going to focus on him, and instead are just going to take this dragon that's just sitting here for free for them. Heroic is in a bit of a dangerous position here. There's not much tower HP, but he is able to just shred Mythic down. Mythic actually goes behind him. They don't hit the tower first, but now they're able to get him. Cesarius does stop to hit the tower, but I think Heroic is probably just going to be able to get out. The damage is ticking. Demonic plus Lilia passive does a lot, but now the stun is coming out. Silico's looking for something. Sarvis is able to just burn down Liz, and now with Sarvis turning his focus, they are able to just burn them both down with no one falling in return. Looks like the Mundo's sprinting out of base. Valor's here looking for something, but he doesn't even have his second item yet. No Mythic Zai is not going to deal enough damage to get enough done here. Pooz is walking up. They're trying to look to get him low, but that's so much damage. Mythic and Sarvis are such a scary bot lane, especially when they're on comfort like this. And it looks like Spectres are just going to be able to close this game out, starting off their season with a very clean 5-0 game score. It will be interesting to see how MVP is going to try and flip the tides here. I think you're going to need to ban some of these champions, but I think this matchup in particular is just really difficult. So hard to ban out everything that you need to deal with. Well, Lee has actually not given me the button to quit out of this game, so we're just going to do a little Alt F4 gaming here. MVP is actually elected to remain on the red side here. They're still going to be fishing for these counter picks. I wonder what draft adaptations we are going to see for them. But we'll see what they are changing to try and get a dub in this series. But Spectres, I think, can probably just try and coast. I'm hoping we'll see something more strong side from Avery. He was able to play the weak side like expertly in this game, though. Zero complaints with how he was able to get that one done. That Orin gameplay was very solid. Just able to dodge a lot of pressure and set his team up really well. Totally just generated the assets wrong. Oops. But I'm excited to see how this is going to go. I think if there are enough draft adaptations, I think MVP really does have a shot to take a game here. But I think you do need to play very heavily towards Heroic. And I think swapping out IF or Silico just does burn a little bit of synergy, which puts you in a bit of a worse position. Yeah. Valor is actually going to be the key player here. This is still broken. The champs played are wrong. I believe everything else is probably correct. 80 games, 56% win rate, 2.4 KD, pretty solid. His most played champions are these mid laners. I'm not expecting to see him play a mid laner in the bot lane, although it is possible, obviously. These champions to watch have not changed yet. So I am going to just see if I can kick it to draft as we're waiting for that. I believe the timing of it is not out yet, but it has actually already started. So that's kind of perfect timing for us. Looks like the draft is pretty much just staying the same. No adaptations so far. 9:30 was the time. I just didn't see it. Hecarim is the first pick here. Interesting. Nautilus was banned away instead. I forget what that leaves up. Kaisa is available. I'm not sure if MVP is going to lock it in. But banning a different one of these bot lane threats definitely makes a bit of sense here, because the Kaisa ban did not seem to do much if the Nautilus is still up for Mythic. He's super comfortable on that champion, and he was able to stop a lot of the possible playmaking from Liz here. The Ashe is taken the other way. It's a pretty solid counter into Kaisa, but this means that we're not probably going to see Zaya Rakan. Obviously, we might not even see the Rakan by itself. We might see the Milio thrown down on the table. It's pretty solid. Shaco is coming down. Was banned in the second round of the previous game. Is a very comfort champion for Silico. He does like his little tee haha champions. So I'm expecting to see some fun Shaco gameplay coming out here. Should be an interesting time. Karma is locked in. Karma Ezreal. Okay. We're definitely taking a page out of the Closeted Furries book with this bot lane pairing. Was something we saw a lot. I'm interested to see how Starverse and Mythic play it out. The Karma shielding does help you a lot with a champion like Shaco. You can just shield up whoever gets feared by it and hope they survive. And the mobility here from Ezreal is pretty good. I was actually hoping we get to see this Milio, so I'm glad it's coming out. Liz is undefeated on this pick so far. So Spectres is undefeated. Liz is undefeated on Milio. We'll see who comes out on top. It's a pretty good pick, so I wouldn't be surprised to see it win, but I think it is going to struggle a little bit into Karma. I think that champion is quite good, so we'll have to see how that matchup goes. The band's coming out. Syndra is taken off the table. Silas is taken away from Heroic. I'm not sure if he necessarily plays that champion. Valor does, but we could see some lane swapping between Val and Heroic. I think that could be interesting. So that could be what the Silas angle is coming for. They might just be looking to lock in some good Silas, or good champions with good ultimates. Sorry, is what I was trying to say. Darius is also taken off the board. That's not super surprising. Irelia hovered. That would be wild. Instead, we're going to see the blind pick here, and R5 is just going to be saved for Heroic. I think that is exactly what they need to be doing here. I think Avery has a lot he can pick here. Obviously, huge champion pool there. Plays a lot of carries. I would love to see Riven, personally. I think that would be fun. We are seeing the Ivern, though. And the Echo is locked in for Gruer. They're basically throwing down the gauntlet. What do you have that can counter this? A lot of these scaling mages are suffering into Echo, so I think that makes sense. But I believe this is probably just going to be Ivern top, but it could really go into either of those two roles. We could just have a two-way flex between Ivern and Hecarim in the top lane. I don't know. Could be fun. I think Avery just playing Ivern, bringing up the Daisy. We could just have a 2v2 chilling up in the top lane. And if you bring the Shaco up there, it's a 4v2. We are seeing some Twitch chat. If they gave Gruer Echo correct, I think that is a bit of a mistake. But the Akali's coming out. We'll have to see how comfortable Heroic is into this matchup. I'm just not a big fan of giving one-tricks their champions, especially when they're that experienced on it. And I don't think the counter matchup here is that solid. And really just not a fan of MVP's draft as a whole here. You have a couple assassins, a split pusher, and Ashmilio, which I do really like. I would have preferred to see some like double marksman comp. Even like a Teemo would have been pretty cool, because the increased attack range on the Teemo would have been pretty fun. You get some synergy there between Milio, Ash, and everything, but I don't know. Not the hugest fan of this, but if they are able to pull it off, it is definitely a difference from the first game. So I'm not fully upset with it. I think MVP is definitely adapting and showing that they're able to play a different style if they're able to execute this comp well, and I think they could kind of flip the script here. And Spectres definitely took the scaling side of the matchup, but Shaco and Akali don't come online super early, so I think it could be a bit dicey. It looks like it is interesting. I'm going to wait to reveal which lanes things are going into until they load into game, just to not leak anything. But we'll make sure that we get to look at this stuff. It would be really funny if Spectres was just trolling me and swapping around some picks just for the funnies, but we will have to see. Okay, and there we go. We have gotten everything locked in. So I am going to just... Oh no, I did that wrong. Well, that was a little bit of an oopsie. I think Mason will be happy though. He gets to see Avery on not as much of a weak side champion here, but is also not going to see that 2v2 that I was talking about, because it is going to be Hecarim in the top lane, which should be pretty exciting. Definitely a bit of a different flavor than we saw with the Ornn. But you can still kind of play weak side, but you're able to get really ahead if you're able to get an advantage on the Hecarim. So we are just going to skim over these real quick. Avery has not played the Hecarim top before. Caesarius and Gruer are both on their previously spotlighted champions, so we're expecting to see them do pretty well. This is a big new look for Mythic. Mostly we've just seen him play some engaged champions and do well on those, but this Karma is pretty new, so I'm excited for it. Again, Liz on the Milio, something that we're pretty scared of as well. Valor on Ashe, this combo is just very solid. Heroic has had a good game on Akali before. Silico, I thought he was going to be undefeated, but has actually lost once on the Shaco. 4-1 overall, though, with a very solid KD. I don't know why it's saying Avery is 0-0 and Mythic is first timing it. I think it's possible that Avery has played Hecarim in a different role. That's why I would guess it's behaving like this. Season records, none of these champions are really standing out. Echo's doing quite well. We just have a lot of good Echo players this season. Ashe has not been doing great. Akali's been doing quite well. These player matchups, we still don't have anything from last game. Overall records, Karma looking a little bit rough. Everyone else on par pretty much. These champ matchups, Ashe is a little favored in the Ezreal matchup. And yeah, I just want to see if Sarvis can redeem his previous Ezreal performances. I think that would be nice to see from him. Yeah, I think my eyes are definitely on Sarvis and Mythic here. Just out of curiosity, I don't know if they're going to have the biggest game impact, but seeing them adapt to this new style of play, I think is going to be pretty interesting to see if they're able to do it. And basically take what I said about the last game, about when teams need to be strong, and just flip it the other way around. MVP really needs to be playing around the beginning of the game, getting their assassins ahead, and make sure that the key champions on Spectres are staying behind. You have to make sure Echo and Ezreal stay very far behind, and Hecarim and Ivern you definitely want to keep out of it as well. The Ivern Karma double Enchantress with the Hecarim and Echo are going to be brutal. Also buffing up the Ezreal as he's throwing in all these projectiles. It is just going to be living hell for you if you can't control them. It is going to be pretty hard for Sarvis to be hitting a lot of these skill shots late game. What with all the stealth from Akali and Shaco, it's just going to be very important for MVP to keep vision control and make sure that they can set up for good flanks and take out the strong members of Spectres. But it's going to be really difficult to do that if Echo or Hecarim get fed. Both of those champions have a lot of tools to keep themselves healthy in this game. Heal cut might be something we really want to look into for MVP. Make sure you invest and get what you need out of it. If League would cooperate and show me the game, that would be awesome. We're seeing jokes in the chat. We got jokes. We got jokes. Caesarius just dropping the early ward. Both of them saw each other's wards though. No additional knowledge gained by either side. 5 gold going over to both teams. I'm really interested to see how the Hecarim Yorick matchup goes. I genuinely do not have the faintest clue. punchlines delivered by Valoran and Silico here. Neither of them make any sense. I think one's probably delivered by Shaco and the other by Faco, if I had to guess. Silico doing some funky clear stuff on Shaco. I am glad directed camera is showing us that. That is really what I want to focus on. Ivern's clear, obviously a bit goofy. He somehow... Oh, okay. Sterius just forgot that the side cams don't spawn as quickly. And then Silico just has his box set up beforehand. Looking a bit better on the clear. Zarius just did a little oopsie. Forgets that the Croaks are there. It looks like Zarius is going to try to deny away something. Looks to make sure that the blue is taken. Notice that it is, which does give you the information that Shaco started bot, so he's probably pathing up towards the top side of the map. A lot of invades in related things can happen when you have a Ivern in the game. Same with Shaco. He can cross the walls very easily. And could look to punish Ivern's, you know, unique clear pattern. Avery is getting the early shove off, denying a lot of minions away from Puza. We'll see how many he's able to catch under tower. He's able to aggro his minions onto Avery, who just walks out. It's possible he goes for a cheater here, but it looks like he's going for a bush cheese instead. Bot lane CS is staying pretty even. Sarver's looking like he's getting some poke in there. Akali does have a slight advantage in the mid lane so far. Not sure if there is going to be a play coming out here. It's possible. Pings are coming out. Zarius is looking for this. No vision is going to spot him. Akali is walking back into the bush. Does get the root off. Gruer's going in. Gets the dash, but the Akali is just able to get out of vision in time to kind of defuse the play. Gruer looks for the sun. Is going to get a bit of a shield, and it should keep him alive, except Heroic does burn the flash and is able to pick up first blood. Really well done there. And now Silico's on the hunt for Zarius, looking to take him out. Zarius should just be able to grab himself over the wall. But yeah, this early lane is looking really good for Heroic. Definitely punishing Gruer, even though Gruer probably has the experience advantage in this matchup. Really well played there. Is able to win the 1v2 and pick up a kill of his own. Some of that, obviously, you can account for just TP versus Ignite difference. But now Silico's looking to possibly dive top lane, but Avery's able to get the back off. They could just stay for this teleport, but both of these backs are just going to complete. And Avery is now back alone with Puza in the top lane, who's managed to catch up in CS a considerable amount, which is non-negligible. Zarius is now here. Does miss the root, but Valor flashes, just wants to make sure it doesn't happen. Gruer had already pathed down a little bit to try and make sure this play happened. Gruer is not intimidated by the fact that he died. He backs and buys a Dark Seal. Does not quite match the full Hextech alternator purchased by his opponent, but he's going for something. Silico is now going for the invade. This could get a little dicey here. I think Silico should just be able to get away with this pretty easily. They're getting some roots down to Heroic, but now the bot lane is roaming up behind. This could make this play a bit interesting. Silico just gets directly by them, all four of them completely missing him. Silico is falling down quite low, might die to the Ezreal. Sarvis does have to flash for it though. Akali is looking to get out, does not have any summoner spells available, and is just going to get picked up by Gruer. The Lion's Paw did go into the cage here. They grabbed the mouse, but did pay the price for it. And unfortunately for MVP, the two people who we are saying need to not have kills, the Echo and the Ezreal both are the two with the kills. Sarius is now looking top lane. Silico's in the area, but he's just trying to clear his jungle. Looks like there's not going to be a play on top side. You probably just want this Hecarim to be able to farm up for a bit. I just purchased the tier, did not have early damage, so forcing a fight there is probably not in his favor. Zarius is now going in, gets the root onto Puza, and the ult over the wall from Avery, really well played, just keeps Puza in check, and they're going to be able to kill him. Brewer's under pressure here, though. The stun is going to discourage Heroic from taking that. But yeah, well played by Zarius there, getting a kill onto the Hecarim. Silico's now looking for something here. They're going to spot him out on this control ward if he tries to take the red. But he's been staying in the bush so far. Now he knows the control's there. Drop the box, which is going to be disabled. So he just goes right back mid, looking for a play here. Is now showing up, gets the dagger, gets some damage off. Brewer is running. The Ignite is dropped down from the Shaco. But Brewer gets the stun and pops the ulti. Heroic is falling down low, taking some damage. Brewer's got 2 stacks on Heroic. They might just fall off, and yeah, the burst is no longer available. This play should just diffuse, but preventing Heroic from getting a lead is a recipe for success for the Spectres, as he is probably their main win condition. We can just watch this back to deal with the game not loading super well. Yeah, both of them fall down to about 300 to 400 damage, but there's just not a way for them to die. It looks like Ezreal and Karma were able to burn Flash Heal off the Milio, applying a lot of pressure in this lane. And now Silico's bot lane, but he is going to be spotted before he gets too much done. Ezreal was able to just E out and uses the cleanse to trade off the Ashe ulti. Both ADCs took cleanse when they were playing into Ashe. Smart move. You're able to just completely mitigate the Frozen Crystal arrow. Or Enchanted Crystal arrow. My bad, misspoke. Spectres is picking up the first objective of the game here. The Rift Herald should help them break open one of the lanes. I'd kind of want to see the Hecarim's lane get broken open, just because I feel like he'd be able to play it the safest if he has to push up to get some tower damage down. I'm really not sure what build he's going for. Cesaria is spotted on a control ward here, is possibly looking for a play. Puza's getting a little crossed out there, and they're able to chain the CC really well here. But there is no ult remaining for the Hecarim, so they're going to have to just run him down. No Ghost available either, but you just have enough damage with the Hecarim, able to take him out. 2-0 on the Heka. But shout out to Pusa though, keeping really even in CS here, which is tough to do. Especially with the amount of pressure they've been committing topside. And now Heroic is looking to pick up a kill here. Avery's a bit caught out, but Heroic misses the E. It shouldn't matter though. Kali just has enough tricks in her bag that she can just take him out. The Rift Herald crash is going to give some money over to Avery. They have to hope that it's enough to make a bit of a difference. And Akali is just getting even with the Echo. A tower plate was traded back over, which pretty much just equals out the play. And now there's a play bot lane. Hecarim just TPing behind. Liz falls down quite low. Does use the melee ult already. Valor's looking to just pick up Mythic. Is going to do it, but that is a 2-for-1? Maybe in favor of Spectres. It's possible that Valor can just get out. Hecarim burned Ghost, but it might not be enough. Yeah, Valor, impressive flash over the wall is not going to be enough to get him out. But he's able to pick up Avery on the backside, which might honestly be better. Getting the Ashe online even faster. Cesare is just put in a box top lane. Looks like Avery was being a little bit greedy there. Didn't want to take the defeat. And huge flash from Valor. Eventually able to secure my kill. Now Silico is top. Cesare should just die here. I'm not sure he has any way to get out of this. Burns the flash. And it looks like Silico is not going to greed. And is just going to accept his loss on that play. Something to note is that Sarvis also flashed in that fight bot lane, but flashed into the wall instead of over the wall, so he was not able to pick up the kill. And now Mythic is just going to fall down to Heroic. He hits the E that time and is just able to pick it up with the perfect execution and a few abilities stacked on top of it. Puza gets a couple plates here. The Fear is not actually able to hit Puza there, but the Cage doesn't hit either, so Avery should just be able to pick up the clean solo kill here. Does not yet have a full first item. I'm not sure what he's building into, but I assume we will get to see pretty shortly. This might be Gore Drinker if I had to guess, but I feel like I'm probably wrong. Sarvis is running in. I don't think there's much of a play here. Taking out Mythic earlier in the jungle. Heroic does just stunt this bot lane's timings and gives a lot of pressure to Valor and Liz here. They're just giving over a control ward here, trying to fight over this vision. And Silico's looking to go over the wall here. If Cesarius leaves, it's a pretty doomed fight for the Spectres. Silico is not actively looking to force a play. Probably wants to take something a bit safer. Because flipping some stuff here could potentially not go well. Looking to steal away this red buff. He does have the smite available, but there's a fight going on top lane. Avery needs to get himself out of the cage. It's taking him a very long time. And it might have saved Puza's life. Looks like a lot of it's just coming down to if he's able to hit it or not. But there is a fight mid lane. Guru is falling down pretty low. Has already used his ultimate. But now Cesarius is here. Guru is able to pick up Silico on that fight. And if Heroic goes back in, he's likely just going to die. Cesarius is looking to just run him down. Ash Arrow is coming out. Is not going to hit Gruer. But now Avery just rotated from top. He figured he wasn't going to get Puza. So might as well try for Heroic. I don't think this is going to happen. Daisy is running under tower. Hard to command her the way you want to when she loses vision of the Akali. So nothing is going to happen. Only 1,000 gold lead for the Spectres, and it is evened out by this dragon. So I'd say both teams are in a pretty solid place. It really just comes down to how this mid-game execution goes through. If MVP is able to do well, it should put them in a pretty good spot to win the game. But that action is not required from the side of Spectres. Gruer goes ahead and commits both summoner spells to pick up a kill onto Puza, giving him some Dark Seal stacks. Right now he's sitting at 7. Puza going for a bit of a different look here with his itemization. He's picking up the Duskblade, going for something a bit more aggressive. Can get him a lot of damage down on the Ezreal and Karma late game. And the Echo's going to be pretty squishy as well in terms of armor, at least until he gets the Zonias. Heroic now looking to pick up this dragon with Silico. The Iron is just not here. They're probably not going to be able to contest this. Hex Tech Drake pretty early is going to be very solid for everyone on their team. And it is going to be the Infernal Soul. That's something you need to look out for basically for both teams. A quad Infernal on the Ezreal and Echo would be disgusting, but it does look like it's more likely for MVP to pick this one up, and just the poke on Ashe and the just burst off of the Akali and Shaco is terrifying. But Heroic's looking for a play here. Silico is going in, but TP's here. Sarvis does just burn the cleanse to get out of this. Silico's falling down low. Heroic goes in, then dashes out, and they're able to interrupt the Ezreal ult. Allows him to keep it. The TP is just cancelled. I'm not sure what specifically caused that. Might have to go back and check. But Avery's looking for a solo kill here. That could help even out the play a little bit, but if they're able to get the bot tier 2 turret, I think I still like this in favor of MVP. Avery was able to just pick up the solo kill here. I'm going to go back and just look at what canceled the TP. Oh, it is going to be Rift Herald here, actually. Herald reset and then stopped the teleport. That's actually crazy. The ultimate wasn't yet available. So maybe the play wouldn't have been as powerful, but definitely not anything to laugh at. Gru and Heroic now trading here, but Gru taking some damage from tower, which is probably not what you want to see. Rift Herald is coming down. They should just be able to grab this mid turret, but Silico is going to look to contest it. Yeah, I don't think you're getting anything done here. Some gold in the pockets of the Ivern, looking to support the rest of his team. Spear of Shojin actually just comes out first for Hecarim. 6-2-0 here, pretty strong. Sarvis getting some poke down, Valor falling down really low. Heroic does have ulti though, so a very powerful threat. You have to play around it. Does not have any sort of Darksteel or Medjai's items. Is not fully gambling on himself, which honestly, not the biggest fan of. I would have liked to see a bit more risky play, but that's just a personal taste thing. I think it is completely fine to not go for the riskier items here. And Avery is rounding the corner here. Good Q by Liz to just disengage. And Gruer is a bit scared of Heroic here. Despite having the gold advantage, still reasonably scared. Puza is going to just grab the tower here. Has a CS advantage and is getting a lot of pressure around the map. Doing well into a matchup where it seems like he's losing a bit. Both assassins have their eyes locked in on Gruer here. His ult is positioned in a worse place than he is, which makes it hard to use. He is going to have to burn it here just to avoid death, but Heroic is still looking like he's in a good position, but he's taking so much damage from tower. Is not ultimately going to fall, but Karma's able to pick up one, and Cesare should just be able to grab this one. Shut down on the Akali. They were able to burn some Darksteel stacks off the Echo, but he gets two back. Or two sets of two, I think. Not entirely sure. After he dies. Echo ult is coming down, and the redemption, I believe, from Ivern to try and slow him up here. But Ashe just gets so much utility in these fights. Sarvis getting poked out, not looking like he's winning this. They need Avery to get something done. Does not have the ultimate anymore, so they're just going to have to disengage this fight. A lot of resources expended to try and get this going. The ghost from the Hecarim and the redemption were burned. But they did get 3 summoner spells in return. Both Milio and Ashe had to flash, and a ghost from Ashe. Kind of canceling out the ghost from the Hecarim. Liz and Valor are back on the map. Valor is definitely one of the strong points for that team right now. Very fed. actually like the 3rd strongest champion on the map. Doing it pretty quietly though. I think he was just able to grab some towers and get gold that way. Does not have like the most kills or anything. Been farming pretty well. Gruer is CC'd up here, dropping down to half. Is just gonna ult. I don't know where he went. Oh, he went back to top lane. Did not get to live for long enough in the mid lane to get to stay there, unfortunately for him. Mythic is falling down low in the back and fight. Silica's probably looking for him. Heroic goes in now, misses the E2. Is looking for something, but he's able to pick up Avery, gets so much damage down. Cesarius and Gruer are both super low. They're trying to get out of there. Sarvis is at about half and just flashes to ensure he's not dying here. That is a very clean 3 for 0 in favor of MVP, and it looks like they're getting a lot out of this mid game. They're trying to transition it into a dragon here, and if they're able to get soul point, that puts them in a really good position for the rest of the game. Kali is going to remain a threat through this game. One of the assassins that scales better. Same with the Shaco, but he's not off to quite a powerful start. Both Echo and Akali are at that 2-item point, putting them in a very solid position. And Hecarim is building towards what I believe is Gore Drinker? This game is looking good for MVP. Heroic just needs to make sure his execution on these fights is perfect. Haha. But he's been doing a really good job so far. Especially onto a team as mobile as this, it's really hard to get your combos down and really maximize your damage output. Who's is basically even in gold with the Hecarim. Been doing a really good job of applying some pressure on the side lanes. Is not someone you can just ignore throughout this game. Looks like we're just going to see Dustblade into Black Cleaver. He's going to try and make sure he's shredding through all of the people on the other team. Cesarius is desperately trying to get this camp. Now Heroic's looking for a play. Neither of them are able to hit their abilities there. Could be something going on here. Gruer and Silico fighting over the blue buff. Cesarius just immediately grabs it though and gives the rest of the blue over to Gruer. But Gruer's now looking to go into 3 of them. Spots the Shaco box and now he's running away. He might have to ult. He's dropping down super low. Does ult, is able to hit both, gets so much damage. Gruer's now running in, gets the pop onto Liz as well, and she's likely going to die. Double kill to Echo. I thought he was in danger, but this is a call an ambulance, but not for Mimo. When he pops the ulti, he gets it down onto 2 people. So much damage, runs right into the Shaco clone, gets feared, but it does not matter. The Shaco's building AD. It's not a huge threat. But we are seeing the side lane push from Heroic. He's trying to get as much gold in his pockets as he can. Maybe he's looking for a death cap, but they're just trying to burn down this Baron. And they actually did just send Gruer back to match this. Hecarim's there to try and secure this objective. And MVP actually still is holding on to the gold lead, but if this Baron falls, obviously they won't be anymore. Silico could just look for a flip here, but the vision control on Baron is really solid. It's super hard for them to get much done. He actually does have vision with the box. It's not blocked off by the control ward. Just wanted to check that. And Puza does end up falling on the side lane. It's hard to split push on the stronger side of the map. With all these people committed to try and take the Baron down, you're likely just going to get caught out. But they were able to see a successful split push from Heroic, who did actually pick up the death cap like I was thinking he might. Echo's really close to a death cap of his own, only about 180 gold off of that benchmark. And now, actually, MVP is just going to get this Baron. Looks like Puza served as a really good distraction there. They were able to pick him up, but it diverted them away from it. And Heroic's just able to pick up Avery very cleanly, but he's going to die for it. Shutdown goes to Karma, though. Probably the worst character to get it. She kind of falls off at this point in the game. And you already have a very strong Enchantress on the team with the Ivern. So MVP isn't too upset about that. Getting a kill onto the Hecarim's good, especially before this dragon fight. But I would argue he's a bit more important to his team, and he has teleport. Or a bit less important to his team. And now Liz is getting caught off, so this is 2 people down. MVP does have Soul Point, and it looks like they're going to stay that way after this dragon.
These faces I know well.
And Silico is posturing here for a steal. It's possible. Valor is caught out by Brewer here, though. Does not actually just get popped. The movement speed slow is pretty big. Brewer, I don't know, I said Brewer. Silico, insane steal there. Picks it up with the Shaco. Almost gets Sarvis there. Sarvis does get the Q snipe. And now Valor is going to fall, but Brewer burned Flash and is now getting absolutely just ran down by Heroic. Brewer's trying to get into this redemption, heals himself all the way back up to full. Doesn't even need to ult to do that, though. Now Heroic's trying to get out, gets the tag onto the Karma, and is able to just go in, pick up the Karma, and get right back out. But now Avery's running him down. It's going to be tough, but Infernal Soul on the Akali is so big, and he's able to get 2 in that exchange, but it's still a 3 for 2 in favor of the Spectres. Gold is pretty much even, but this Infernal Soul is going to do so much work throughout the game. The split push threat is what we need to keep our eyes on. Gruer's just trying to burn down the tower. So much damage with the Lich Bane, and they just need to take advantage of these times where the Akali is not on the map. That's the best chance for Spectres to get anything done there. They're definitely on the back foot here, though. MVP's been playing super well. Gruer does get tagged, has the ult. He's probably the hardest target to pick off here. Silico is going in. Gruer's falling down super low now. If he gets a good ult position, he could just one-pop someone. Silico's here on the back foot. Gruer falls down super low. Does need to burn the ult. He doesn't hit anyone with it, but is able to pick up a 3-man stun. Figured that was coming at some point and just positions it super well. They're able to pick up Caesarius in return, though, so it is just a 1-for-1. Going both ways. Really good play by Gruer there, though. Sets up the W knowing he's probably going to get put down low by Shaco, and no one on the other team was paying any attention. He's able to grab the 3-man stun and get one. I was going to say before he dies, but he just simply didn't. Puza now pushing up with Liz here, looking for the most tower damage he can get. I don't believe Mythic's going to be able to defend this. This second turret in the mid lane is notoriously hard to defend. Akali is now looking for just a pick on Avery. Avery had a really good start of this game, but it's hard for him to keep the lead into these assassins. And I don't think he's going to be winning this fight. Infernal Soul on Akali is huge, but now he's just stalling. He's waiting for Gruer to show up. Burns the fear, and he's almost dead, but Gruer body blocks for this. And Gruer's in such a bad position. He's looking for the ulti. Does get a huge chunk onto Heroic, but it doesn't matter. Heroic with the Akali is able to pick up 2 in the 1v2. Really good play from him. I would have loved to see a full stack Medjais at this point. Would be insane, but his build already is strong enough. He's getting so much work done. Caesarius now has to fight this off, and Silico is just out. Gets away with it and is able to steal the big wolf. Valor looking for an ulti, isn't able to tag anyone with it. Sarvis drops the ult, gets some damage down, but obviously Milio is just going to be able to heal most of that back up. And now Heroic is just diving under tower. It doesn't get anyone yet. Is able to pick up Caesarius and Mythic. It looks like Mythic was basically just an accident. He just scratches him a little bit, and the Karma just gets wiped off the map. MVP has done an expert job this game of keeping control of the early game. Made sure that they stacked up these Drakes. I think the only thing that could possibly go wrong for them is a flip over an Elder Dragon, and they can make sure that that doesn't happen by picking up the Baron and just smothering them. Boost has done a really good job this game pushing in the side lane. Now has the Hull Breaker. He's not someone you can ignore, and now he's just obliterating Avery. Probably would have gotten the solo kill. Looks for it, but yeah, just got a little too greedy there. And is just going to get taken out by the rest of the team, but you're not getting much. Actually, he probably was worth 300 gold. He's been farming really well. Now Avery is looking for Silico here. Turns around and just grabs Faco under the tower. And now we're seeing the Dark Seal. Okay, I'm loving this from Heroic. Has built all the items and just throws in the cheeky little Dark Seal there. If he's able to play super well, then he's able to pick up the Medjais. But if it doesn't go as well, he can probably just pick up another item. Probably just grab a needlessly large rod or look for like a Void Staff or something. Depends on what he sees fit in this game. Gruer has just picked up the Medjais. Only at 2 stacks though, not getting as much value as you could. Heroic is still off the map here. They have no clue that he's there, sitting in the shadows. He is likely going to come out at some point, but it's tough. They've positioned the map so that Spectres is going to need to choose between the 2 epic monsters. Obviously, the Elder is going to be more impactful, but if they don't contest the Baron, it could just be too late. Heroic is still been sitting off map. They have no clue where he is. Now Mythic's extended a little bit. I don't know what target he's looking for, but now Gruer's on the back almost just lights up Valor completely. Heroic is still off map. He's still probably sitting right in this bush. And now he's channeling his recall. He didn't see the angle he wanted. The Maiden is just solo split pushing. They're sending Yorick, or they're sending Hecarim to stop this. Heroic still just sitting here, but now Spectres have the jump on the Elder Dragon. It's going to be really hard for them to stop this. 3 backs coming out. MVP's just seeding the Elder. I'm not sure what the call was here. But if Spectres is able to get this, this could be huge. The Ezreal poke is really solid. Avery just pops the ulti to get himself out of there, but they're looking to maybe just force it. Only 3 people running down here, and Caesarea should be able to just grab the smite. They're able to get it, and now they need to turn, get as much damage down to these people as possible. Sarvis is poking. Silico is going in pretty deep. They're gonna get the Elder Pop on him, but now the recall, they weren't able to get any of the Nexus Towers, but they're able to get an inhib in trade for it, but the Elder is just maybe not worth it. Really interesting call from MVP there. It looks like they were trying to force an end, but they just didn't have the split power or the push power that they thought they did. I think when you had control of the Baron, if you were able to take it, then you're able to threaten that end condition, but they just kind of waffled around a bit and weren't able to get too much done. I still think they're in a commanding position in this game. They're able to just wait out this Elder. That could be pretty good for them. I do want to see Spectres try and go for something here. Gruer is fighting Faco. They're just going to pop him. But you want to force something while you have Elder. It's still up for about another 2 minutes, I think. Silica's looking for a flank. Gruer is just sitting here. He goes over the wall, and Liz is just dead. Elder is so strong. Valor gets the stun off. Gruer's going down super low. Is trying to hold his ulti here. They're just popping Redemption, getting the healing that way. And now the push is coming down mid. They're not trying to fight anything front to back. The TP is being channeled from Gruer. I think they know they have assassins. That was actually from Avery. But I think they just know that they have assassins, so they can't really fight it front to back. Avery's now falling down super low, and they need to commit someone else to get back. They do not have any other teleports available, and the backdoor win condition is just going to be here, I think. Karma's trying to get something done, but they're just only going to be able to kill Faco, and Heroic and Silico just end the game. Wow. What a crazy way to close that out. 35-minute victory for the Mass Valoran Pirates, and this is the first defeat all season on the Spectres. It is possible, guys. You're able to take a game off of them. And I think this puts him in a pretty scary position. They gave their mid laner their most comfort pick, and he just got kind of slammed by the Akali. Heroic doing a really good job that game. Looked like he was doing quite well. I'm expecting to see an earlier Shaco ban, and maybe this Akali taken off the table as well if you're looking to pick up the Echo. Let me check where the side select was. It looks like the Spectres are choosing red, and the draft has already started. So we are a bit behind on this. Oh, wait, it hasn't started. Okay. Was a bit thrown off. But it should be starting soon-ish. Both these teams are at one game. Okay, now we're getting into draft. I think adaptations I'm looking for are those things I mentioned really briefly at the end of the game. I think taking away Shaco and Akali, both these players just looked super confident on those champions, but instead we're seeing Kassadin still off the board. Maokai taken away from Caesarius. I think they're just not a fan of these tank junglers. Ashe is looking like the first pick here. They're pretty confident with this. They feel like Spectres doesn't have anything to really counter it. Nautilus is taken off the table. We're keeping Mythic off that comfort. The Akali and Shaco were banned away like I would have liked to see. Now we're seeing Mythic kind of return to his comfort class of champions. We're seeing the Leona, and this Lilia is coming back out. Ashe does a decent job into it. Slows her down a bit, stops the deer from just prancing around and getting some big bonks in. These next lock-ins I'm expecting is probably something to pair with the Ashe. I would like to see another Milio. I think that was pretty good. It's also really solid into the Lilia. You're able to stop the sleep, so that is going to come through. Would like to see something ranged. Teemo would be pretty cool. Obviously, I'm being a little optimistic here. I don't think that's likely to actually show up here, but, you know, always possible. Jarvan is coming down instead. This was the proposed counter to Lilia that they kind of hovered in the first game, and then it got banned away. But actually just locking it in early I think is really solid. It makes it a little bit tough for the Lilia to play the game. Poll is up if you want to predict with the channel points. And as always, Prime subs, super appreciated. Xayah is locked in. I feel like that is genuinely or generally considered weaker into the Ashe. But I don't think it's super terrible here. You're able to kind of stall out the Jarvan damage, but you do still get stuck in the cage. Even though the Akali did quite well into the Echo, it doesn't look like they're looking to give it over earlier in the round, or even again. Like, I think the Akali is probably that one counter that they had sitting there, and now that they won a game off of it and it's now taken off the board, they're not looking to deal with the Echo. So that is banned away. Veigar and Aesol are now taken away later in the draft. And the Darius is still taken off the board. I don't think Avery is going to get to see that champion. I don't know if I want to see the Hecarim again, and I think the Ivern is nerfed a little bit, so I don't think it's as strong. So I think this Lilia is a pretty good adaptation there. Looks like we're just seeing blind pick Gnar for Avery. I think it makes sense. Not too many of Puza's champions do super well into it. Urgot's no longer being banned here, so we could see that come out. And that is what's going to happen here. You probably could have picked something a bit stronger into Urgot, if that's what you're expecting. But it's also possible that anything good into Urgot is not as good into the Yorick, and I feel like this matchup goes pretty evenly. Gnar's a pretty safe blind pick champion, so no beef with this, obviously. Also, Jarvan gives you more walls to work with the Gnar, which is always nice. And we are seeing Victor. This was the spotlighted champion for Heroic, so we are getting to see it locked in this series. I think it is something we want to be a little afraid of here. I wonder what the counter pick from Guru is going to be. I think there is a lot you can choose from. It's a pretty open-ended draft, and a lot of things would work well with what you already have locked in. They are taking as much time as possible to think this one out, and they're just going to end up with the Syndra locked in. I honestly kind of hoping for some Zoe, but I think that's probably not super realistic, and that Syndra was disgusting in the first game. It feels like MVP might have forgotten about it, or just really wanted to make sure that Darius wasn't on the table. Okay, looks like we should be getting in game pretty soon. Puza actually did change his in-game name to Puza, which I think is kind of neat. I did like the Booty Fett name. I think it was pretty funny. So sad to see that one go, but being able to quickly identify him is always nice. Liz is looking to continue to have the undefeated Milio. I believe it's 4-0 now. Whatever stats I pull up are not going to be reflecting that, just because I haven't gotten the time to log these yet. Yeah, we should be able to look over some of this stuff. Just want to get a quick overview going into game. I think this game 3 should be quite a banger. I'm glad to see Spectres lose at least once. Not because I'm a hater, just because not losing a single game is a bit bedge, to be honest. Past performance on these champions, Liz obviously is going to be looking a bit better. Same with Valor, as they just ran back these champions. And Starburst and Mythic played absolute heat on these champions last time they got them. Looks like Guru's previous Syndra performance was not that good, which is kind of funny considering it's been banned out this much. Or, I guess this isn't counting today's game, so it is going to be looking a lot better. But yeah, I think kind of funny that it has been banned out so much. Season records on these champions, Leona is looking really good and Xayah is looking horrendous. I think Xayah is just being locked in a lot because she's considered good and people aren't super comfortable on her. Obviously, these are all going to be 1-1 and just have data from the series if we're having the updated versions. And the matchups are what I kind of want to look at. So despite Jarvan having the matchup advantage, Lilia historically has done a little bit better. Victor has done quite well into Syndra previously. Syndra generally has the advantage earlier in lane. But it all really comes down to if you can hit your Qs and if the Victor can dodge them. Because Victor E is pretty much guaranteed damage, and Q for Victor as well if you're able to space correctly. Those should just be free. There's not much that the Syndra can really do about those, but hitting Syndra Qs is a lot harder. So in order to really win this matchup and get the most out of it at the early levels where Syndra does have a slight advantage, you just need to be very good with positioning those Dark Spheres. If you do struggle to hit them, then it's a bit rough. and Victor will probably have the edge in this matchup. I also feel like Syndra is going to be very susceptible to these Jarvan ganks, but as I was talking about earlier, I think Gnar can definitely capitalize off Jarvan, and then I like the Xayah Leona into Ashmilio a lot better. But I do like seeing some more ranged champions with the Milio. Urgot and Victor in particular are going to do quite well with him. Victor getting that bonus range on his Q auto, and then Urgot obviously just getting bonus range on, I believe Purge is what it's called, will be quite helpful for him as well. Spectator delay is ticking down to about 1:20, so we should be getting into game pretty quickly. Surprisingly, we haven't seen Narvi Urgot at all. I feel like both these champions are pretty solid blind picks, but I guess you just don't normally counter one of these champions with the other. So that would probably explain why we haven't seen it much. Also, I think not many people really play the Urgot. I'm a big fan of it. I know Pooza's been enjoying it. I believe Casino has played some Urgot as well, but it's not around as much, so that might be more of a bottom of the iceberg reference we're going for here. Let's see if I can pull up these Urgot stats and just kind of check it out. Yeah, me and Jonah are topping the charts, and then Pooza is the only other player who's played it more than once, although Pooza, I believe, is taking the second most Urgot games after this series. Alright, and we should be getting the game about now. We'll see how that ends up actually working or not. Alright, let's see if it will show the game. Yeah, here we go. M7s across the board for Spectres. And some of the most comfort champions are the ones without it on MVP, which is a little funny. Heroic, impressive amount of mastery in Silico. Only a bit on that Jarvan, but the champion is pretty easy to execute on. So I don't think that is actually a concern in any capacity. Both Victor and Syndra are going for the first strike sorcery setup. So that makes these early trades even more impactful. Ashe going for a bit more aggressive setup with the runes. We see the domination tree in the secondaries instead of inspiration, which we're seeing on Xayah. I'm not sure if I like that on Ashe though, because you don't get approach velocity or mythical footwear. So a bit of a trade-off. Pretty standard runes everywhere else, I believe. I don't necessarily know enough about all the champions to be sure about that. Lilia is the only one I'm not entirely sure about. I believe there is probably some arguments to be made about a few different keystones on the Lilia. Phase Rush, obviously, I don't think that's super relevant anymore, but I know it was popular at one point. But Conquer is probably the other one that you'd be looking for on this champion. But into the three squishies of like Victor, Ashe, Milio, I think the Dark Harvest does make a lot of sense, but would like an expert jungler's opinion on it, so if you can leave something in the chat, would appreciate the feedback. Unable to download spectator data, the game is exiting. I'm going to try to reconnect us to this one. It would suck if we are completely unable to watch it. I'm giving it another try. We'll see what we can do. But we're going to be a bit behind regardless. Okay, cool. We're good. That seemed a lot faster. Apologize for a bit of the wait there. Obviously not much I can do. I'm a bit at the mercy of Riot Games on this one. I'm guessing there was probably a pause, to be honest. That could explain some of this. Cool. Nothing too exciting here. I really do want to focus on mid lane. I think it's going to be super impactful this game. Both of these players are very good. This is the featured match that we looked at right at the beginning. Heroic is able to get the first strike proc of the game. So truly the first strike. You can sue me for that one, I think. So Zarius was able to get some damage down onto the ward, but isn't able to clear it. Has not placed a ward of his own. Is just going to take a quick reset here. Probably going to go grab Sweeper and try to clear that one out, but not entirely sure. That ward is going down. Again, not being cleared. Kind of getting vision parity. Both Raptors are warded. But they're actually going to be giving this ward over to Syndra. Could possibly get her that level 2 a bit earlier. I'm not 100% on how that works. I'm just going to selfishly pin towards the mid lane a bit. First strike advantage still going over to Heroic. I've been trading a lot better this game so far, at least, but it's very early. Things can change. Gruer does get to hit this level 2 early, but might not be able to capitalize off of it too much. Yeah, it looks like Victor's still getting the poke advantage. First strike is back up for both of these players. And who's going to get it next? Level 2 is gotten first by MVP. They're looking to just zone the other team off the wave. Getting some nice poke down there. And actually, Puza's caught out here. Zarius shows up, forces the flash. And first strike keeps going over to Victor. It's possible Syndra's just taking it for the late game. The trading advantage is pretty much always going to go to Victor in this matchup. For the reasons I was talking about earlier, E is just a lot easier and faster to hit. So it's going to put you in a pretty solid position. And there we go. Heroic is just looting him. But he's actually down a lot of CS. Not like a crazy amount, but I would say it's significant. And he's only gotten about 30 gold off the first strike so far. And it looks like Jarvan is looking for a gank in on the mid lane. Gruer's at a bit of a rough spot. He's running down to the Lilia, looking for help. And Silico just doesn't know where he is. And that's a lot of damage down to Silico. He's forced to burn the shield. And now Avery is jumping in, gets off a minion, is falling down super low. Is Puza going to get the solo kill? He does not. He backs off a little bit. And Avery finds the opportunity to burn the flash, pops the hyper. And he is going to get a solo kill first blood to start off the game. Our weak side detainee himself doing quite well. Puza just quickly disconnects, and now we are having an actual pause. Okay. I think we are about caught up now, if I had to guess. It looks like checking calls. Puza is still not back, so I'm not sure what the delay on this is going to be like. And okay, so Puza's back in call, so I'd expect this pause to go on for about 3 more minutes, probably cutting us off at the 25-minute mark. Let me see if I can't get our cheeky little asset up in here. I will incorporate this into the stream setup at some point so that we can get it faster. Oh, wait, never mind. It is just right here. Okay, there we go. Yeah, game's looking pretty even so far. Obviously, a slight advantage is over to Spectres. They are 1-0 currently. Avery getting a lead, but neither top laners had much ability to CS. Syndra, huge CS advantage. Everywhere else is pretty much just even. Brewer is obviously very comfortable on the champion. I think there's a reason it gets banned a lot. I'd assume the only times it gets left up is because they have a very clear plan to counter it. And it looks like they had cooked something up for the Echo, but I'm not sure they have something cooked up as well for the Syndra. Hence why it did get banned in the second game. And Brewer was able to get a win for his team with it in the first game. So we'll see if he's able to clutch it out on the game 3. And still looking at this bot lane for Valor and Liz. Just some updates on the pause. Nothing we didn't necessarily know already. But yeah, I just want to look at this Ashe Milio bot lane. It's very solid. It's something C9's been playing a lot of. So, you know, if you're one of those people who's into that, you can be excited about that. But I don't know. I just think it's a good comp, and Valor and Liz both seem very comfortable on these champions. I think it fits the way that they want to play the game pretty well. Gives them a lot of setup for the rest of their team. It is a bit tougher here because you kind of only have a 1 carry setup in the top side. Urgot and Jarvan are definitely facilitating champs more so than actual carries. Whereas I feel like last game Silica was on Shaco, who had just a lot more ability to control the game. But he can obviously build a bit more aggressively on the Jarvan, which could get you back into that kind of comp. An argument, does League hate top laners, giving them technology gaps? Doesn't let them play the game. So true, so real? We should be back in game any time now. I'm not sure what the full duration of the pause is, but the delay should be about up. Here, let me layer this correctly. Avery eating some Sonic. Valor is quite jealous of the Sonic. Hopefully this will be resolved. Too long? Okay, just reconnected, so this pause should be resolved somewhat quickly. Just looking at scaling, I definitely favor Spectres when we get to the late game, but that was true last game and they didn't win. And it wasn't true in the first game, which was the one that they did win. So we'll see if they're able to get stuff done, but I think Syndra and Gnar should have a lot of threat in the mid game, and Ashe and Milio should come online a bit later, but I think Xayah is just a bit more of a threat, personally. And we're still going to be hung up a bit just because we have to wait for, you know, some latency stuff. Yeah, looks like we're back on track. Yep, so we just get to play through the pause this time. Pretty easy. We're getting a good stun down there. Okay. Game has decided it doesn't like me. Here we go. Cool, cool, cool. Ping's coming down to mid lane. Good ward from Brewer there. I believe that's his ward at least. Yep. Really well placed to spot out the Jarvan. in a lot of different areas. That could be a ward that y'all could look to place in your games. It's pretty solid. Valor is picking up a bit of a CS advantage here, and the mid lane one has kind of neutralized itself out. The Victor is forced to take it back here. Something to look at here is that Heroic actually went for the cleanse here, not the teleport. I feel like something that Spectres has been doing just a lot better this series. Okay, never mind. A fight is breaking out. Caesarius is getting a lot of damage down. Puza is going to fall down quite low. Really good flip there, and the hyper procs are getting a lot done, but is it enough? And yes, Avery's able to pick one up, and the tower is not going to be able to kill back in return. Anyway, I feel like Spectres have been playing the map a lot better this series, whereas I feel like the fights have been better executed by MVP, which I think is a bit interesting, because previously Spectres' strong point has really been their fights. Just doing really well in these skirmishes, but Heroic and Silica's hands have just been on point this whole series. Okay, maybe if I just wait long enough, then we'll just be able to watch the game normally. We'll have to see. But yeah, Silico is looking to just get this dragon, but the Chemtech dragon is the hardest one to take. So he's falling down quite low. He's barely able to survive as he kills the dragon. Is able to sneak that first one by. MVP did a really good job last game of just stacking these dragons. And Chemtech Mountain early on is going to get a lot done for them. Puza is in a rough place here. Avery does not have Mega, but does have the 6. But now Puza burns a dash in, getting a little risky here. Avery with the big Gnar ult snags him into the wall and picks up another solo kill. Avery is looking menacing here. If he's able to just go for the Triforce into the Hullbreaker immediately, that split push power from him is going to be absolutely disgusting. Could just outsplit what Puza was able to accomplish in the second game. Which would be pretty impressive. I feel like the org did quite a lot there. Yeah, I think I'm just going to go back 15 seconds so we can watch this a bit smoother. We just get to watch Avery push in this tower again. Nothing too exciting. Brewer is just going off map. Saya just pinging a lot of different champions. I will say I think there's a bit of redundancy with the double cleanses on MVP when they already have the Milio. I think at that point you might just want to give Milio a cleanse. I think that's a bit of a controversial take, but if your entire team gets hit by CC, Milio being able to cleanse himself and then cleanse the rest of the team is a funny strategy. I just feel like if you have this many cleanses, that might be where you want to go, but unsure. I could be wrong. There could be a lot of value here. Leona ulti, Gnar, there is a lot of CC across these teams. Sarvin's looking a bit aggressive. Jarvan is looking for a gank here. Going for something. Sorry, my TV was just flashing on and off. Got a little distracted. Brewer picking up a tower plate here early. Gets some gold into his pocket. We'll just do a quick first strike check on the Victor. Has picked up about 100 gold from it so far. Puza walked up just a little bit too far and is going to get caught by the weak side police, which is kind of ironic considering Caesarius was there. But this is the 4th kill over to the Gnar this game. He is very strong. Jarvan's looking for a wraparound play here, finding a potential angle, but he's going to have to walk over a ward if he wants to go for bot lane. So he's just headed right up towards mid. Brewer is actually not there. Caesarius is popping down the drowsy, gets to sleep, is not cleansed actually. So Brewer is just able to grab the kill here with his ultimate. Cleanse held, presumably for a team fight going later on. This Rift Herald is not going to be picked up yet because Silico is going to be spotted out on a ward. Caesarius knows he has to respect it. Silico does have flash, so he could look to just go for the kill here. Caesarius actually does not have the flash. Chose to just stick around. Silico, really good idea to just chase him into the jungle and pick up the kill. Okay. Apparently going back didn't matter. I apologize. Stuttery stream today. Okay, and Mythic is running in, gets Valor quite low. But now Valor's looking to trade back. Has burned both Summoner spells, but so has Mythic. Sarver's just stacking some stuff up, and the bowling ball does not contact either of the MVP bot laners. Alright, this is kind of ridiculous. So this is just the play we just saw. Double sums burned from Valor in exchange for the double sums on Mythic. Avery being helpful, pinging the timers. Okay, guess I'm just not allowed to watch the game past this point. Not really sure what's going on here. I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. I'm going to see if I can't just restart the game stream. Lots of issues. It's possible we're going to have to skip a bit of gameplay getting back in here, so I do apologize if that is the case. Yeah, okay. So we did miss a couple kills, so I apologize for that. Looks like Brewer and Avery were both able to pick one up. Looks like Caesarius was able to grab an assist on one of them. Hopefully there were no crazy plays there. Avery is going back in here. I apologize that the DoorDash thing is still up on there. And now Avery is looking to win this trade. Puza's still not level 9. It's really hard for him to get anything done. And once he gets behind in this matchup, it's very hard for him to amount to much. Caesarius is going down in here, and Valor just gets caught out for free. And Avery TPs off the back of the solo kill and is now going in and helping his team with Dragon. Something I did like a bit more about the Yorick pick is I feel like it can do a lot more from behind, whereas Urgot is most useful when you completely snowball the lane. Heroic is now getting that plate back in return, but getting a lot of poke down. It's hard to chase into this Victor. Yeah, Brewer seems to have a very good foothold in this lane. He's up about 10 CS, and with the 2 kills, looks like he was probably able to pick it up onto Silico. But obviously, we had to miss it, unfortunately. But hopefully this version of the game's replay file will run more smoothly, praying.
Turret plating will soon fall.
Sarvis gets back in the lane, is looking to maybe get to Blade Caller down, but not quite getting it. A lot of pings coming down onto the Jarvan, but Brewer just gets a solo kill onto the Victor. Really well played by him. He don't need to worry about the Jarvan gank if it's just a 1v1. Mythic flashes onto Valor, but does a really good job. Drops the Ignite after the cleanse is already blown. Really smart play there. Sarvis goes in and is not quite able to get the kill there. Liz is able to get out by the skin of her teeth. And Silico is going to fall as well. I'm not sure if the Lilia ult was necessary at all. Gnar now has a full Triforce. Looking like he's eating pretty good here. Yeah, and Gnar is 7-0 here. He is absolutely terrifying. Making short work of Puza there. Actually didn't get the stun on his ultimate. We might just be able to give this one over to Cesarius. Yep, Lily is picking up one. You don't need to get all the gold onto Gnar. I think he is ahead enough at this point. Yeah, I think that is going to be a very terrifying prospect for MVP to think about how they're going to deal with that. And now Silico is looking for an engage here. Sarvis does not have ultimate, but he is getting so much damage down. Gets the Blade Caller and is able to trade 1-for-1. Now Victor might be looking for the dive. He's spotted out on the control ward. Is just going to look to clear that. Might not be able to get this off. But Mythic's just walking up a little bit greedily. Pops the W. And Heroic tries to wait it out. Does not quite wait long enough. But the pressure from all sides. Mythic is just going to fall down here. There's no way he does not. Gets a lot of CC down and forces them to burn the Victor ulti, but what do you get in exchange for Leona? The mid tower, which, you know, not terrible. Bot tower picked up with an objective bounty for the side of MVP, so that trade definitely goes in favor of them. The Rift Herald definitely dropped by accident here. Probably tried to ward Pixel. They are going to spot Silico out with that blue trinket. And they're able to grab another mid-turret, completely opening up the map for Spectres. Now they can start to get more of these dragons. It's another Infernal Soul. Again, very good for both sides, but on this map, I think it's favored for Spectres. If they're able to stack up these Infernals, Syndra, Lilia, especially Dark Harvest Lilia, it's going to be pretty brutal. Spectre's already positioning to try and get this dragon. I think it's really hard for MVP to contest this. Obviously, Gnar is super strong here. Probably going to be building towards the Hullbreaker. Could allow him to just completely rip open the map, force a lot of people to contest with him. And Liz does not quite die to it, but Mythic is going to find her. Should be able to have enough damage. Does have to burn the Ignite. Looks like he didn't want to. Milio ult comes down, and Leona ult is actually going to be the thing to kill her. And now Brewer is looking to get some damage down to Valor and has to flash the Jarvan ulti. Victor is just simply not in this fight at all. Might show up late, try and pick something up. Silico is falling down pretty low. Now Heroics on the backside is looking for Brewer. Might be able to get him, but no, Brewer picks it up. Killing spree for Brewer. That doesn't seem right. I think that's because I left and rejoined, and now, yeah, okay, it's definitely bugged. Avery is legendary off that one, and Brewer is whatever you get when you're 5-0. This game is looking a bit Jover, I'm not gonna lie. Spectre solo laners are making mincemeat of MVP this game. And the bot lane is going pretty well also. Avery is looking a bit caught here, but should be able to get a lot of damage down into Silico. Triforce gets a lot of value, and he's just able to pick up Silico. 9-0-1 on the Gnar. The weak side police making some arrests across the map. Or really just in the top lane, but you know. And Heroic is walking up here. Gruer looking for the possible scatter angle, is just going to focus on the tower. Make sure that he gets the guaranteed gold instead of flipping for risky gold. Smart play. It's just completely one-shotting the wave. And now Avery's looking for the 1v2. Urgot has rotated down to the mid lane. Valor's getting a lot done. But Caesarius is now running up, has a lot of move speed stacked from the camps. Avery is going to get hit by the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Is able to get the slow onto Valor, I think. But the heal from Milio is going to be enough to just kind of ignore it. Baron is up. I do want to see this get started soon by the Spectres. Gruer just making sure they can't collapse on him. Really good scatter, holding the Jarvan off. And now that you've seen the two strongest people for MVP, you can just go ahead and start up this Baron. Ashe is a little far back out, and Jarvan's on the other side of the map, so he does not have the smite available to stop this. And it is just going to get picked up for Spectres. They're probably going to try and Deathball and just push this in. They're so far ahead in this game. 12,000 gold lead at 20 minutes. Gruer is getting caught out here, is just going to ult, just kills Heroic, solo kill. And now the weak side police are here to help. And that's a double kill for Gruer. This is looking pretty rough. Gruer has TP, is just going to take the reset and go back to mid lane, I believe. He might have a full death cap off this buy. Is just going to TP in, teleports to the minion taking aggro. Very smart play. And Gruer misses the scatter, does not get anything, but they're just slowly pushing in here. And 30-second respawn on Puza, 10-second respawn on mid jungle. And Liz gets tagged from all the way down the lane. The ult does come out, and Mythic just trades himself for the enemy support. But there's 1 second left on each of them. One Nexus tower is down. They're trying to get this done, but Gruer is just so far ahead. And same with Avery, who's now rejoined the fight, flashes in, adds that extra damage. Sarvis is able to pick up Silico. Avery's running down, gets some damage, but they're just focused on the Nexus. They do not want this series to go on any longer. And a 2-1 victory for Spectres, able to close out here. Well played by the Spectres. I'm going to see if I can grab someone to interview. I don't know what's up with League Spectator. They've broken it even more patch by patch. So it doesn't say victory or defeat, which is absolutely splendid. I'd have to revisit some of these games, and I do not have post games to go over. But I would say MVP for the last game is definitely going to Gruer, and for the second game it was definitely going to Heroic. So I'm going to see if I can get Gruer in here for an interview. Hello, Gruer.
Hello.
Congratulations on the win. I will need to turn you up just a little bit. But you finally got your Syndra, and you got your Echo. I know both those champions have been banned against you a lot. Was it kind of relieving to get to finally play them?
I was really glad to get to finally play Syndra. I was really surprised they didn't ban Syndra or Lilia. Like I was kind of surprised with them choosing to like ban all the junglers out.
Yeah, I think it could just be that Silico is going in, he's not as comfortable, and he might just particularly struggle against tanks. I think they...
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I think they banned Syndra against you in Game 2. Were you expecting to get your hands back on it in Game 3?
No, honestly, I would have thought that it would have got banned maybe in like the second phase. But I was just like happy. If I'm last pick, we have a big enough pool to where I'm pretty comfortable. So I was happy to get it. I mean, I'm happy with it into Victor, so I was a little surprised that that was the matchup we ended up getting.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the Victor, and I figured there's like 18 billion champions you can probably pick. I feel like Victor has a lot of matchups where you can go even and just kind of scale up. Obviously, you completely smashed that lane. Really well played by you there. We saw an Echo game from you. It did not go as well as some of your previous
Yeah,
ones.
there were some moments. Credit to Heroic, he played really well that game on the Akali, and that was a really good pick, I thought, in that position for their team. But I still think we had windows to win. I mean, I think we just kind of fumbled it at the end.
Yeah, I mean, I think you did still play pretty well throughout that game. You had some stacks on the Magi, some stacks on the Dark Seal at some point. We're definitely getting ahead, but does that kind of... Do you have a grudge now? Are you really looking forward to the second round? Get another chance with that Echo Akali matchup, or just more games
I
against him mid?
uh, yeah, I mean, Heroic was fun to play against, especially the second game. I thought that was a really good game for like both of us, so I'm looking forward to playing against them again. But I have to give a shout out. I thought Avery played so well this game. I'm surprised I got picked for MVP. I really think he just smurfed on the Gnar this game.
Yeah, I mean, he played really well. My reasoning for you is just I think you made more plays across the map. Like, he was able to dominate his lane, but you were able to dominate your own lane and get plays done and some fights around different objectives and stuff.
That's
A bit more than
fair.
him, but
I appreciate that. I also just got to shout out my whole team. I thought everyone played super well tonight. Especially, I thought Mythic had a really nice game three on the Leona.
oh
You can
yes,
ban the Nautilus, but he's got other picks, so you
yeah,
can't ban him out.
yeah. I thought it was cool that we got to see I think 3 different champions from 3 different people on your team. I want to say I think only you and Caesarius played the same champ more than once, but
Yeah, I think that's how it went.
yeah, but 3-0 start, obviously very solid. You guys did drop your first game of the whole season tonight, so I imagine that's something that maybe you're thinking about. But huge start for you guys. This was a really dominant game. Way to close out the series.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think do you know who we're playing next? I think it's Rift Sharks.
Depends on the scheduling, but I
Okay.
think that is probably what it's looking like. I'd have to check.
I'm looking forward to that matchup. I know that my bot lane's looking forward to playing against their ADC, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to play against y'all as well. It looks like uh, on the calendar, Nutbusters and Spectres are both allegedly going to be next week, so we might see
Okay.
a double week from you guys, or it just whichever one of those gets scheduled. But I think either way, y'all are looking at a pretty fun matchup next week. We already had our game against Nutbusters, and they are a fun team for sure. So
Definitely. I think all the teams have been really fun. I think everybody's being creative with their drafts and with their picks. It's been a really fun season so far.
yeah, I'm with you. I think this is probably our best season to date so far. I feel like the team balance has been really good. But yeah, congratulations again. I'm probably going to try and cut stream, but is there anything else you'd like to say to your team or MVP or anyone else in the server?
I got to give a shout out to my guy Matt, who's been watching in chat, and I also got to give you a shout out for the
Oh,
stream.
thank you.
This is awesome. I've played in a few different leagues, and the use of like stats and statistics and how it gets shown on stream is just second to none here. So like, just shout out to you guys. The streams are really great.
Yeah, I'm a nerd. I think that's the take here, but I appreciate it. I'm glad other people are appreciating my stats. So thank you very much, and thanks to everyone who was watching. I think we're at 21 right now, and we are probably averaging about 15, 16 on the night, which is really awesome to see. So thanks to everybody, and congratulations again to Spectres. Huge 3-0 start to the season.
Thank you.
Yep. Peace.